Good night, everyone. My name is Brianna Jones, and I am an early childhood major. And for tonight's presentation, I will be talking about educating in the early years, the importance of accessing pre-K education in the Bahamas. So in this presentation, we will cover the history of preschool education, my methodology and results, the benefits of preschool education, and implications for the Bahamas regarding preschool education. So a general overview. What is preschool education all about? So preschool education falls under the category of early childhood education. And early childhood education spans from 0 to 8 years of age. The early childhood stage is a pivotal point in a child's life as they learn a plethora of things that helps to shape their psyche. Thus, it is imperative that they are nurtured in a safe and educational environment. A preschool. Preschools in the Bahamas typically cater to children ages 3 to 5 years old. Private preschools normally range from 13 months to 5 years old. Early childhood care can range from part-day, full-day, and workday programs. The history of preschool education. Former preschools were first established in the 19th century. In 1837, Frederick Froebel, who was a pioneering philosopher in the educational field, opened his first preschool, naming it kindergarten or the children's garden. Froebel was pioneering in this field as prior to Froebel's kindergarten, children under the age of 7 did not attend school. It was believed that young children did not have the ability to focus or to develop cognitive and emotional skills before this age. Maria Montessori was another philosopher in the field of education. She was given the opportunity to open a daycare called Casa dei Bambini in a poor district in San Lorenzo, Rome in 1907. Maria accepted, and children ages 3 to 7 were brought to the center whilst their parents worked. By 1910, Montessori programs had spread like wildfire, and Montessori schools could be found throughout Western Europe and beginning to develop across the world, including in the United States, where the first Montessori school opened up in Tarrytown, New York in 1911. UNESCO Foundation was one of the primary foundations to foresee the spread of information regarding preschool education. They conducted surveys and distributed memos all around the world in the early to late 1900s. So in regards to Bahamian history, in the 19th century, the Bahamas went through many changes regarding education, as at this time, the need for education for the now freed slave was being addressed. A key example of this was the Act of 1836. The Act, passed in May and in effect by June, established a board of public instruction of 60 persons, including administrators, civil servants, and clergy, with power to make rules under the Act and to appoint local commissioners. So with this Act, schools ranging from preschool all the way to high school was implemented, although preschools was not as heavily implemented as the other educational levels. In the late 1900s, preschool education was still not taken seriously, as nurseries or preschools for children below the age of 6 were not maintained by the Board of Education, and approaches made to the board to take responsibility for this level of education were constantly rejected. Therefore, preschools were monopolized by the church and private sector. By 1982, it was recorded that 89 preschools in New Providence and 16 in the Family Islands were registered with the Ministry of Education. It was acknowledged, however, that many more unregistered schools existed and still exist to this day. By the beginning of the 1990s, these numbers had multiplied significantly. So my methodology that I used was a survey. And the survey was basically to gather an overall view towards preschool education in the Bahamas. And I decided my target audience were male and females who were parents or persons with younger siblings with the age range of 18 to 54. At first, I only wanted to target Bahamians, but then I realized that so many different nationalities also lived in the Bahamas, like Jamaicans, Haitians, Chinese, and Americans. So I decided to extend my audience to persons who also reside in the Bahamas. So participants were recruited via several social media platforms, including WhatsApp, Facebook, and Instagram. This survey was further posted in group chats and statuses. Persons who received the survey were also encouraged to share it with their friends and their family. This survey received 85 responses, comprising of 88% females and 12% males with age ranges of 18 to 54. The second method I used was a quiz. And this quiz was to gather an overall view on how much persons knew about preschool education in the Bahamas. And with this quiz, I targeted males and females, parents or persons with younger siblings, Bahamians residing or persons residing in the Bahamas, ages 18 to 50 and up. So this quiz received 86 responses, comprising of 86% females and 14% males with an age range of 18 to 50 plus. And my results were as follows. In the survey, based on the responses, it was included that minority of kids began school at the preschool level, ages 3 to 5, 26%, whilst 15% did not attend preschool at all. Majority of persons preferred to homeschool until 5%, until 5, which was comprising of 27%, or wait until a child could talk, which also comprised of 27%, whilst the third most common cause was insufficient funds, which comprised of 18%. Majority of persons felt that preschool education was important, which comprised of 82%, whilst 18% did not find it significant. So in the quiz, based on the responses, it was included that the average overall score that person's made was around a 58% or a C minus. Majority of persons believe that preschool education could be done at home, whilst minority of persons believe that primary education can be done at home. And a trend that I noticed was that many persons could not differentiate between fine and gross motor skills. For example, when asked about fine motor skills for 2 to 3-year-olds engage in, 81.4% said running, while 79.1% said dancing, even though these are gross motor skills, as gross motor skills comprise of large muscles, while fine motor skills comprise of more intricate movements. So that would be coloring, writing, or painting. Another trend that I noticed was that majority of persons could not establish the types of skills learned in the preschool classroom, as 62.4% believed that kid readiness was a skill learned in the classroom, even though kid readiness is not a thing, which I found a bit amusing. So why is preschool so important? It is no secret that many persons believe that preschool is simply about playing, coloring, and learning the alphabet. However, according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, early childhood care and education is more than preparation for primary school. It aims at the holistic development of a child's social, emotional, cognitive, and physical needs in order to build a solid and broad foundation for lifelong learning and well-being. Early childhood education and care has the possibility to nurture caring, capable, and responsible future citizens. Therefore, it not only prepares the child for their primary education, but tends to the whole child. As we can see in the diagram, we see that with preschool education, it targets each one of these areas. So it targets their physical development, social, emotional, also called psychosocial development, their sensory development, cognitive development, and communication skills or social skills. And these skills are so important because they can contribute to long-term benefits. According to research, adults who attended preschool tend to have higher earning and hold on to jobs, lower crime rates, higher four-year college attendance, higher math and reading skills, skilled jobs, and fewer special ed placements during time in school. So what does this mean for the Bahamas? I believe that we should use these three key implications in order to further stress the importance of preschool education. So the first implication is knowledge is power. It is imperative that persons in the Bahamas are informed about the importance and benefits of preschool education, as many Bahamians do not know how important preschool education is, therefore they do not take it as seriously. But maybe if they had the knowledge of its benefits and what it can do for their child, they would take it a little bit more seriously. Next, we have accountability. Persons must be held accountable for their child's foundational learning. Thus, preschool education should be compulsory. And last, we have resources. The government should implement more incentive for preschool teachers to encourage more persons to join the field, as preschool education can be very taxing and it can be very difficult at times dealing with large amount of kids. So basically, the government should ensure that they have ways to encourage persons to join the field, to encourage persons to spend the 4 to 5 years studying it so that we could help to nurture our young students. And this is the end of my presentation. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about preschool education. Thank you.